Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, drive shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
All right, so far it's just me and Damian here. We're talking about the Mud Racers Association race in Burwell, Nebraska, Thunder in the Pits. I just got home from that today around noon. Me and Damian are recording on Sunday evening. It's 7 o'clock where he is, 6 o'clock where I'm at. And I'll just start off with this. Man, a badass weekend. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not real racing. They just do two runs and they're done. They're not running against each other, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't matter. That shit was awesome. A ton of horsepower.
Definitely.
What? Yeah.
Still some amazing machinery.
Oh, dude, it was, I never seen anything like it. The professionalism was crazy too, dude. Like, and I think the smallest engine on the property may have been like 632 cubic inches, which is still insane. And I've never seen more 900 cubic inches. I've never seen more 900 cubic inch engines in one spot than I did this past weekend. It was crazy. And the facility was
at Topeka.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel like you're at Topeka watching Pro Mod?
Yeah, no kidding. It was awesome, but the facilities were great. The facilities was basically where I think they hold the state rodeo there for Nebraska. I could be wrong, or it could be the county rodeo. But either way, it's a huge, they do a huge rodeo there. And the racers get to pit and camp where I would assume the other trucks and trailers for the rodeo do, because they pay $35 a day for hookup. So there's no generators running to keep your RV going, and $10 a day for camping. So really it was top notch, like, and that was a really good deal. So, and then they also, to get to the track, they had to just cross the gravel road and then get to the field where it was just behind the bowling alley, and the bowling alley actually served the food, the drinks. They're actually serving alcohol to the spectators as well. So it was, It actually worked out pretty well. It did. They got the community in on it too. So that was cool. And then, we saw some records break. The class will actually start with first here. Outlaw Pro Stock, your class winner, Will Harrison, driving Razor's Edge, taking the win. And this is the class where they combine the ET and the reaction time.
Right.
But his new 180-foot Outlaw Pro Stock world record pass, the time that he set was 2.30. And 2.3052 to be exact. And his backup pass was like a 232 or something like that. And it was really awesome to see that, because well, first of all, that truck is badass. And if y'all don't know what truck we're talking about, it's definitely the one that you may have seen videos of it earlier this year. It blew the doors off whenever they were testing it somewhere. And shout out to Harrison Logging for helping us get to Burwell, Nebraska, because those guys were top notch. They had some really fast shit. Shout out to Kevin, shout out to Will, Eric Bidlack too. Those guys were top notch. And congratulations on getting the Outlaw Pro Stock win. They had the combined reaction time in ET of 2.4009 seconds. Will Harrison actually won the combined reaction time at extra money and the combined ET added money. So he took home a pretty good payday right there. Second place in the class. What was that?
I said, sounds like it.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounded like it.
Yes. Second place in Outlaw Pro Stock was Chris Bonaker driving Havoc. He had a total time of 2.4987, and his best pass was a 2.411. And remember, they take your best time and your best reaction time and add it together, and that's what your total time is. And we'll do the top 3 out of this class because they had 13 of these guys. I'm not going to list them all, but they had a bunch of awesome cars in them. So number 3, where'd he go? Number 3 in the class was Wayne Bonaker, the president of the MRA, driving Self-Inflicted. He had a third place time of 2.5150, and his best time during race, his best pass during that class was 2.3819. So, and 180 foot,
Crazy with a
180
motor
foot track
that's
just moving.
with no power adder, no less.
Yeah, no power adder. He's got 825 cubic inches on that car, so it was really cool to see him. But yeah, that was your Outlaw Pro Stock top 3 from Friday night. We're going to move into the modified paddles that ran Friday night as well. And they only had 5 of them, so we'll go ahead and list all 5 here. And you get 2 rounds, and whoever had the fastest pass out of the 2 rounds, the quickest ET, I should say, whoever had the quickest ET out of the 2 rounds was your first place winner. And I heard a lot about this guy this weekend. They call him a young legend. His name is Jason Massey. He got first place running a 2.1564, and he actually ended up setting a new modified paddles record. He didn't back up to 2.15, but he actually ran a 2.22 to set the new modified paddles record.
Reset.
What was that?
I was just responding. I was saying to reset it.
Oh yeah. He tried to. They didn't make a third pass though. I noticed that they only did the 2, so they allow him a chance for a backup pass. But I didn't see him take it. If he did, I missed it. But
probably trying to save equipment because that's a lot of motor.
Yeah, for sure. And then Robert Gallagher hopped in it the next day for modified cut, but we'll get to that here in a second. So Jason Massey was your first place winner for modified paddles, and second place was Daniel Carraher. Oh, excuse me. Jason Massey's truck name was Outcast. Jason Massey was driving Outcast. Daniel Carraher, shout out to Carraher Electric, by the way. They helped us get out to Burwell, Nebraska, and give you guys the coverage that we did. Daniel Carraher, he was driving Looking for Trouble. He was your second place winner with a time of 2.3838. And your third place winner was Justin George. And that Daniel Carraher and Justin George both driving Racing in the Dirt built machines. Justin George, third place time, 2.4166. Tara McConnell, also in a Racing in the Dirt built machine, ran a 2.4739. And then in fifth place was Norman Wiley running a 2.7747. He popped an awesome wheelie to he finished 5th. So he just popped an awesome wheelie. It was really cool to see. I got an awesome picture of it.
Yeah,
he was thumbnail.
More of a local racer than a traveling pro. He's obviously down on horsepower compared to what he was up against.
Yeah, but I think he knew that, but he just went out there and tried to give it his all though. So he still had a good time, popped some good wheelies. He didn't like popping the wheelies, so but that's understandable.
They eat into your ET.
Open cuts. Now we had a new record, broke a new world record for open cuts by your class winner, Jim Ingram.
Ingram's car, also another former record holder with one of its previous names as the bounty hunter, Joey Cakel.
Yeah,
it was one of the first cars in open paddles to go sub 2 seconds.
Jim Ingram's winning time was
in 200 feet.
2.0567, and that is correct. And I was told there's only been 3 people to go into the 1 second club for 200 foot. And that car that Jim is driving is in the club. I don't think Jim is yet, but that car is. So he's looking to get there, though. He's looking to get there.
Seems like it's on its way there.
It is, for sure. But Jim Ingram setting a new Open cuts world record 2.0567. And yeah, that's just ridiculously fast and 180 foot. And I think his mile per hour, I look at the ticket, the mile per hour said like 114 or something like that. Is ridiculous for 180 feet. And second place, yeah,
I was gonna say I'll wait until I see what they actually do when they finally try out some 300-foot tracks, because that still doesn't feel quite right to me. But at the same time, I know that them vehicles are still hauling the mail out the back.
Well, Jim Ingram confirmed and told me that he will not try 300 foot with this car, but he would with his other car. Yeah, he said he would not try it with this car, unfortunately. So, but maybe give him time. But he said he would try it with the other car, Bad Trouble 2. So, yeah. But anyway, second place once again, Kevin Harrison with a second place time 2.0749. Shout out to Harrison Logging. Billy Fling getting third place, your only front engine powered vehicle in the class, 2.0808. Fourth place, Steve Renaud making the trip from Ontario, Canada to race with us, 2.0983, getting fourth place. Tyler Coolidge getting fifth place, racing in the dirt built, 2.2100. And then Trey Caffey getting sixth place, 2.8150 in open cuts. And then your combined ET winner to take home an extra $500 was Billy Fling. And your combined reaction time winner to take home another $500 was Jim Ingram. And your best reaction time also went to Jim Ingram with a 0.118. So congratulations to Jim. And that reminds me that I forgot to read off the modified paddles added money stuff, but it doesn't matter because it all went to Jason Massey. So
yeah.
And then we're going to move on to Superstock. Superstock is the only class in the MRA that is actually eliminations, and they had 8 in Missouri, but they only had 4 in Nebraska, which, I mean, it doesn't matter. It was still great racing out of what we had. And so in the first round, you had David French against Daniel Carraher. Daniel Carraher taking the win. And then you had Dawson Boys against Gage Lombazio. Shout out to Bazio. And then Gage Bazio getting the win. So it was Daniel Carraher and Gage Lombazio in the final. And Gage ended up taking the win. In that race, he ran a 3:01 with a 7. The Daniel's 3:07 with a 7. And that's close. And Daniel even got him on the tree, and Gage just outran him.
Definitely sounds like it was good racing.
Yeah.
Shame they didn't get the full field of the super stocks out there, but hey, good racing from the guys that did go out there.
Yeah, they'll get it though. I mean, next time they'll definitely have some. But yeah, super stock was definitely a cool class to watch, in my opinion. We're gonna move on to let's go to Pro Stock. Pro Stock had 5 trucks in it. It was really exciting. And this class was basically owned by Randy George. Randy George with the winning time of 2.5907. Greg Booker runs a 2.7147 to be your second place winner. Shane Burt runs a 2.849. Mike Latham runs a 2.8585. And Sam Lombazio runs a 3.038 to round out the class. And then your added money for best reaction time, best combined reaction time, and best ET all went to Randy George. And Randy George's best reaction time, listen to this, Damien, 0.0010.
Sounds like he's ready to come race with us.
Yeah, I was just about to say something like that.
Again, to all you Pro Stock guys, they just did a couple weekends ago the Pro Truck Elite class. Same with the Outlaw Pro Stock guys. They have a class I believe it's in September, is the next one. They do the Pro Truck Nationals are in Michigan. Quickest 8 trucks on the property. Full body trucks, front end, rear fenders. You don't have to have doors, but you can run them if you want.
Yeah.
any engine combo with a 140-inch wheelbase. I want to see these trucks go for that.
Yes, we all do. We all do indeed. So come try it. Also, I forgot to mention Super Stock Combined ET went to Gage Lombazio, your class winner. Combined reaction time went to Daniel Caraher, your runner-up, and Daniel Caraher actually took the best reaction time as well with a 123 reaction time. So shout out to Pro Stock and Super Stock winners. We're going to move on to probably what was one of the most exciting classes of the event, modified cuts, where we've seen an Outlaw Pro Stock truck actually take the win in modified cuts, and he had a winning time of 2.2502. That was Rick George in the Smoking Gun built by Racing in the Dirt. Your second place winner was Robert Gallagher. Robert Gallagher ran a 2.2760, and Robert's crew actually got on to Robert because he lifted right before the finish line, and they said that he could have won that if he didn't lift. So
very possible. As big as the motors they've gotten at, and I believe it's a Pat Musey build, isn't it?
I'm not too. I think you're right. I interviewed him, and we'll post it probably sometime this week. But yeah, I think you're right. And if I'm wrong, then I'll stand corrected. So, third place, we've heard this name a few times already. Daniel Caraher runs a 2.314 with a 4, and then your fourth place is your MRA president Wayne Bonaker with a 2.352 with a 9. Your your best reaction time went to Aaron Corbiere, the man from Ontario, Canada, in the class. Had a 113 reaction time. Your best combined reaction time went to Chris Bonaker, and your best combined ET went to Daniel Caraher. So shout out to those.
They need to put that kind of reaction time money up and come to a race around here. The people might just show up just for that.
Yeah, these cars
can 113 lights.
Well, and we'll talk about it soon after this too, but these cars will freaking come and compete now. They really will. And don't be surprised if a door slammer enters in the 295 class in any 300-foot track, because these cars can definitely do it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it because we've already, again, with the PTN Elite class, there's 3 cars right now in that ballpark, and there's more coming.
Yes, exactly. All right, we're moving on to our final class review here, open paddles. And this is once again owned by Jim Ingram. Jim Ingram gets the class win, and this is the 180-foot track, but I've never seen a 1-second pass before. And Jim Ingram ran a 1.9076 to win the class. Kevin Harrison gets second, 1.9763. Your third place winner was Billy Fling with a time of 2.021. Tyler Coolidge gets fourth with a time of 2.061. And Shane Olrogi was basically using as a test session and only made one hit. He ran a 2.428. And
he was driving the Patriot, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, with cuts. The combined reaction time winner was Billy Fling. The combined ET winner was Jim Ingram. And your best reaction time went to Billy Fling with a 134. So those were your winners from the Mud Racers Association race, Thunder in the Pits in Burwell, Nebraska. And once again, it was just a great time. I got to give a shout out to everybody who welcomed me with open arms. You guys are great. You guys are beautiful. I had such a great time introducing myself to you guys and meeting new people. And we had a bunch of discussions about trying to integrate the 200-foot and the 300-foot world into what could possibly be, bigger events for everybody to go and have fun at. And I made a post on Sand Drag Central earlier today saying what the kind of interest would be.
Yes.
And it seemed pretty well. I mean, yeah.
It's not as big a change. Not as big a change for us guys going from 300 to 200. Obviously, there's a lot more we could do to gain more time going that way, but it's a lot easier for us to go to the shorter tracks than it is them guys making giant changes in the whole program.
Well, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus here, but it was almost kind of funny how I would bring this up to almost everybody I talked to. And my question was, how difficult would it be to set this thing up for 300 foot? And it was like, they gave me the same answer, but they would say yes or no. And it was all about the gear change. And it's like some people would bring up a gear change and even a transmission swap, and they say, yeah, no problem. Just swap a gear, change the transmission, no big deal. We'll be out there. And some people were like, we're not really geared for that. We'd have to do some gear change. And we just don't know about that. And I mean, I get it.
Right.
I mean, some people don't want to do all that work. And, but obviously you don't want to blow your shit up. If you're set up for 200 and come around 300, you don't want to do any of that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, not every 300 foot race you're going to have to put your motor on kill like you are at these MRA races either. You can tune it down, back it down for what you need to do, and still be competitive in 300 foot. And one day we could get to where, we put these things on kill in 300 foot or whatever. But it's just, it'll take time. But right now we're going to start short. And breaking news, and Damien's finding this out as I'm saying it to you guys right now. Possibly doing something at Cordova, Illinois next year to help out that track and do something cool. And I was actually approached by, shout out to the Limbazios. They brought this to my attention. So we'll expect doing something to where we're going to do a 200 foot one night and 300 foot the next at Cordova, Illinois, possibly sometime next year. And Damien's wheels are turning already, and we'll talk more on that. But yeah, a bunch of interest, and a bunch of people that I talked to this weekend are definitely willing to do such transition where they would do 200 foot and then 300 foot night the next. And even just getting people down for one 300 foot event or whatever. It's just growing both sides of the sport is what is most important. Growth of the sport, whether it's mud, dirt, sand drags, 200 foot, 300 foot. Yeah. We just need growth.
Totally. And that's like, I'm looking at going, they just moved some dates around. Originally, I was going to go do a race in Kentucky in September. It's now getting moved to October, I believe.
Okay.
The Texas Mud Drag Series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go run a 200 foot race with a Jeep in either their open door slammer or their small block power adder class. Hopefully we can convince you guys to come run 300 feet with us.
Yeah. Then like you said, it's easier for 300 foot guys to go to 200 foot. But it doesn't mean that these 200 foot guys are scared. I mean, I talked to plenty of guys this weekend who said, we travel as a pack and we can definitely run 300 foot. A lot of people have no problem running the 295 index. That's for damn sure. And believe it or not, these MRA guys, MRA 200 foot guys, however you want to say it, these guys are definitely looking at our World Sand Drag News world records, and they're scratching their heads thinking like, well, maybe I could go for this record right here. I'm not going to give out any details like that, but it's definitely possible to these guys come over to the 300 foot world, and then we put our foot in our mouths like, oh crap, maybe we shouldn't have done that because now we can't win like we wanted to.
There's so many of these mountain motors. We got the big block, basically our big block 4-wheel drive naturally aspirated class that's held by a small block combination. We've got unlimited 4-wheel drive, which is in the Middle East still. And we've got 2 guys currently in 300 foot world trying to get it. But there's a lot of potential because in all reality, these MRA open class cars ought to be on par with some top alcohol dragsters in the sand.
Absolutely. And don't be surprised if the top alcohol, if the World Sand Drag News world record for top alcohol gets broken by a 4-wheel drive car, don't be surprised because these guys know what they're doing when it comes down to putting down power. And also another thing I noticed, and this is not a dig at anybody or how the tracks are done or anything like that. We groom the 300 foot guys definitely
totally
have a way better groomed track than these 200 foot guys. Way better. So, you won't be able to do the pull forward and pack yourself a spot kind of stuff because this is you won't be able to do it in any 300 foot track anyway, but you can definitely have a good spot.
Puerto Rico, you can go do that down
Oh,
there.
Puerto Rico, yeah, but nobody's going to drive over. Well, you can't drive to Puerto Rico. You got to ship yourself on a boat. But yeah, Thunder Valley. You try to roll through the beams and pack yourself a spot. You'll get it'd be outrage probably, and probably most just like most
totally.
other places. Yeah, but no, I mean, but I do want to give a shout out to a few people. I mean, Burwell, Nebraska was a great time. The town, very small, but it was very chill town, and the racing was fun. The atmosphere was awesome. The background behind the track, the valleys, and just everything was gorgeous. And I guess shout out to Clayton Olcott for everything he did, putting on that race and getting everything he needed to do to put on the event there. He's the he's the track operator and stuff like that. He did a really great job. And oh, you know what? I almost forgot. We got to talk about these mid-state guys real quick. They ran a mid-state race in the Saturday afternoon, and I got to give a shout out to Eric Ostermeyer because he helped me out with these results here. But first place we'll start with their street rod class, and first place in street rod was Will Vaboda. I'm just gonna say it like that. Will Vaboda.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna know any of these guys' names.
That's totally fine. And some MRA guys ran some of these mid-state classes. Mid-states mud racing is their Facebook page, so go find them. And they're mainly mid-state. They're Nebraska and Dakotas and stuff like that. So all of their classes were double elimination except for their open class. Open class was 2 rounds. Whoever had the quickest ET was the winner. But every other class was double elimination. It was awesome. And so, like I said, street rod, first place, Will Vaboda. Second place, Frank Slangle. And third place, Jake Nehans. I'm going to say it like that. Apologies if I said that wrong. And then let's go to sportsman class. This is not a bracket class. This is heads up. It's just they got different rules and stuff. Sportsman, first place, Kyle Hawkins. Second place, Scott Bonzinski. Third place, Zach Slevin. And then in Pro Mod, your first place winner was Norm Wiley. Your second place winner was Shane Burt. And modified, your first place winner was Shane Burt. Your second place winner was Dan Caraher. And third place was Dawson Boys. And then in super stock, first place was Thomas Bloom. Second place was Tanner Hawkins. Third place was Levi Campos, excuse me. And then in their open class, first place, Rick George with that Racing in the Dirt built 36 Chevy, I believe. 36 Chevy. And then second place was Dan Caraher. And third place was Trey Coffey. Dan Caraher also driving a Racing in the Dirt built machine. And Trey Coffey made the trip from Garden City, Kansas area. So it's really cool to see
down
them.
by you almost.
It's other side of the state, but yeah. Yeah, I'm on the east side. He's on the west. So but yeah, those were your mid-state mud racing results from this past weekend, along with the Mud Racers Association's.
It's really cool to see MRA working with other groups. Hopefully they expand on that more and as they travel. I know they do the same in Mississippi.
I would like to see those mid-state guys run more races at Burwell because it seemed like they had a good following and they had a ton of fun. So I would like to see Burwell hold more races. And you guys that do the mid-state mud racing, just let us know results every time you have a race. We'd love to talk about them, you know. So, but yeah, Mud Racers Association race Thunder in the Pits in Burwell, Nebraska was a hell of a time. Everybody that gave me their hospitality, I really appreciate you guys. And shout out to our sponsors one more time for this event: RacingInTheDirt.com, Caraher Electric, and Harrison Logging. Thank you so much for getting me out there and providing the coverage that we gave you guys. It was really awesome. And yeah, their next race is just in 3 weeks. they're heading to Florida.
Makeup
3 weeks.
race for the rain.
Yep, their makeup race for the rain. In 3 weeks, they're heading to Florida, Panama City, Florida, to run their, it would be third race. Wait, is it Panama? I think it's Panama.
Either Panama or Mississippi, I believe. Or,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's,
I know they both races are in the month of August.
Yep, and Panama City is in 3 weeks in Florida, and then 2 weeks after Florida, me and Cody are heading to Gore Springs, Mississippi for that race as well. And I forgot to mention,
Check out.
Our boy Dave is going to Florida for that race as well. So
You'll definitely get to check out some of the big, heavy, fast trucks. They'll probably run 35s Gone Wild. I'll tell you right now, that's a class you're going to want to keep your eye on.
Well, they mentioned that is going to be an event where the local racers are going to be racing a 300-foot race.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, the MRA does their 200-foot stuff, and they do the 4.0, the 450, the 5.0 index, and Tyler and Joel Coolidge, who own the little snowmobile powered Jeep that they bought from the Ellingtons. They said that they're going to run it in the 5.0 index down there. So it's going to be awesome to see that.
That'll be great to see.
Yes, it will. And so, yeah, next race for the MRA, heading down to Panama City, Florida for the makeup race from what should have been the first race of the season. And our boy Dave will be down there to give you full coverage. And we will announce the sponsors for that race as soon as we get them, because we had 3 new sponsors for that race. And it's really cool. So stay tuned to figure out who those sponsors are. And yeah, that was your recap of the Mud Racers Association race in Burwell, Nebraska.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, dry shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
All right, we are going to talk about Homochitto. They just had a race this past weekend. It looks like they suffered some issues with the timing system. Michael Smith gave us an update on that in the Homochitto Dirt Drags Facebook group. You can find that on Facebook, Homochitto Dirt Drags Facebook group. He said, thank you to everyone who came out to run and support us yesterday, even though we were dealing with unfavorable circumstances. The track couldn't catch a break yesterday with the lights, timing system, weather, etc. However, we were able to pull together and throw an old school arm drop open class together for 18 bikes. And they gave big thanks to a few people, Grant Spencer and Colin Waldrop. And they had shot by Debo videography out there. So that's cool. And so with the 18 bikes open class arm drop race, your first place goes to Parrish Stewart and Chastity Stewart for taking home first place and getting $780 payout. And then Piker Wallace and Blake Wallace took second place, taking home $270. And that's really cool. And they will have timings and lights 100% operational by next race. So stay tuned. And once again, you can keep up with everything Homochitto does in their Facebook group called Homochitto Dirt Drags. These guys are located in Mississippi, mainly ATV 300-foot dirt track, but they are not opposed to running trucks. They've actually planned to do more truck events. So shout out to Homochitto for getting another race in, even though they're having some timing light issues and stuff, and they'll get it going for next race, as they said. So shout out to those guys. Mid-Michigan Trail Runners, Green's Dragstrip, Henderson, Michigan, had another race this past weekend. And here are their results. Third place in junior class, Allison Vestula. Second place in junior class, Cooper Compton. First place in junior class, Colton Zansky. Shout out to the kiddos. Third place in modified was Terry Van Wormer. Second place in modified was Jessica Mosher. And first place in modified, Joe Cady. We've heard that name a few times on this podcast. Third place in super modified, Archie Hart. Second place in super modified, Joe Cady once again. First place in super modified, Niall Weber. So that is your results from Mid-Michigan Trail Runners, aka Green's Dragstrip in Henderson, Michigan.